Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we don't get them, and we're not gonna use them, there's no be spending all that money.
That's what a lot of folks going to now to get rid.
That might be a, opportunity to really have somebody on probation without having.
Good time. Y'all doing pretty good experience.
I heard. They still make one man. They did, they don't.
I'm just, I was concerned is we got thousands of people on the street down there.
They don't come back for
Yeah.
That's-
Well, he was here today,
that's
but I went and looked.
concern.
I know you said you
Oh,
made
yeah,
papers,
yes,
They still have to be locked up.
Christmas Eve.
but he has he made all the way?
His family.
Oh, okay.
About all.
So he's
Him,
gonna
his
get-
wife, and 3 kids.
I think that's all, man.
But I am ready. When's spring break?
Very good. off good. We stopped basketball season about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. We made it to the silver. And my first softball that last night. Only had 3 days of practice. No, not on 3 days of practice, play Thomasville. And the kids are really play year round. Makes a difference. Can't teach one another 3 days.
It's always. It's same like you're running. I think about it, and that happened to me.
Oh, no, how you doing?
Still very well.
Before we put you on the hot spot. I'm gonna ask you a opinion about stuff like that.
What that?
So before we put you on the hot spot, I'm gonna ask you your opinion about a couple of things. You know, we had voted about getting TVs and stuff for them people. And what you think about, I told the other, we got a big screen and put on that wall kind of angle that people could see out. And then another one over here, that way council members, they'd be at an angle, you can see what's on that one, these can see what's on here, everybody, in the audience can see everything.
Well, the same thing on both of them.
Yeah. The other thing, you know, we talked about the iPads and everything. Everybody up here was saying that they thought it was going to look to be a good idea, and I was hoping to see about it. Will you use one?
I can probably learn to, don't have one.
Yeah.
I use a computer to work. So
Well-
it's some kind of same thing, I would think.
Yeah, it pretty much, because what we were gonna do, we go to the iPads, be a docking station, and then all the agenda and all that stuff would be on that. and
So we have problems sometimes getting the end of the minutes printed out.
Yeah. So that will,
You know, it'd be on there, I can at least have it there.
yeah,
Yeah, I probably can handle that.
okay, all right, and we'll move forward, we'll get the docking station and everything.
And if I can, I guess I still have to get on that hard side. I think it probably.
Oh, yeah.
You can look on with Larry.
Hey.
For
the time we do it, I'll get on that.
But, you know, I think we had a question, we found a bunch of microphones and everything over there in the drawer. And we were wondering where they came from, and Mary said that, oh, she got here, they had microphones and tape for them, they took them all out. No idea why.
I can understand why.
But we won't have to take it for them. Okay, well, I know that Al and Anthony, Al downtown, Anthony's gonna shut down, so I think we got enough to go ahead and get started. I'd like to go through and enter into executive session to discuss preliminary negotiations involving trade or commerce. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session? Okay, I need Mr.
we'll continue to do our homework on that. And one of the things that the committee is in the process of doing is to, because we need a good feasibility study, which is, as you know, going to cost money. So we have done some checking, and there is a possibility that we can get a grant to fund the feasibility study. So, which will obviously give us a lot more information than we need. So what we have coming before the council today is to see whether or not the council would consider helping us pay for that grant application, which is $5,000. And then we would be able to apply for the grant, and hopefully from the grant, get the grant approved, and then we can have a feasibility study or pay for the feasibility study out of the grant money to determine the feasibility of the multi-purpose building, and, you know, whatever, whether it works or not. Obviously come back to the city with that information, and then we chart the course in the future. That's, I guess.
Yeah, I've gone back and I did some checking that if, what we can actually, do the $5,000 with a sub-recipient agreement with EDA from our American Rescue Plan Funds. So that does not go back and affect our general fund resources for the city. And so that would be the source of the funding. You know, like you said, this is purpose driven. When you're looking at this, when you start talking about obtaining grant writers to do projects such as this, you know, so, anyone have any questions?
Is there any way concept of that we do for 2.5 and let the county do 2.5? 2.5, let the county do 2.5. Let them do something. What y'all think?
Well, I don't think it's a county project. I don't think we ought to, you know, I don't think we ought to pay for the whole deal. I think they ought to share with.
If not, if it's doing.
I don't know. We just.
Because they can act
I have, well, you know, I am not aware of the county making any movement towards utilizing their, you know, last I talked to them, they were going to be talking about establishing a plan, which, to my knowledge, they have not done at this point. But, you know, I think this will allow us the opportunity to go ahead and move forward. Because I think one of the questions from the council had been about the feasibility of this. And I would, from my perspective, I would like to move forward to say if it's feasible, we continue. If it's not feasible, let's not waste some more time with it.
How much would the study cost?
I have checked with a couple of vendors and they're between 50,000 and 75,000. That's why I didn't want to, I wanted to see if we could get some grant funds before we did it, but I know I do want to mention that the EDA getting the money, we will not do it through the EDA. This is not happening so much through the EDA as the Community Development Corporation.
But this is just
The 501c3.
this is a method to do it. So we are in compliance with all of the federal guidelines concerning this. So that's why we sub-recipient agreement, in which they have to sign off saying that they will comply with all of the guidelines concerning this. Any more questions, Mr. English? All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. The other thing that's come up, the next thing on the here is talking about Arbor Day proclamation. And I guess I believe we do a work session, then we just sign off on it, we get in the council session. But anyway, the proclamation reads, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heat and cooling, cause moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat to wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase in property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the city of Monroeville has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 35 years and decides to continue its tree planting practices. Now therefore, I, Charles Andrews, mayor of the city of Monroeville, Alabama, do hereby proclaim Thursday, March 4th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the city of Monroeville, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Proclaim this the first day of March 2022, and we'll sign it with the council session. So we don't have to do the whole thing.
How many trees you gonna plant?
Well, Tim is.
I mean, you gonna,
So what? I mean, you gonna plant one.
We'll get Sheldon and we'll get it done. Okay. Next item that came up, had to do with Marengo Street, and which street was caving in. At the time we called or tried to get an emergency session, but we were not able to do a quorum. And I talked with, Councilman Bruton, Councilman. All right.
uh-oh, there went your grant money there. That was $10,000. I'll clean it up after.
And Councilman Focal, and, because the street was caving in, we went here with emergency repair. And I just need the council to come back and, give their approval to that emergency repair. I know it's post-incident, yeah, it's post-incident, there was something that needs to be done.
Doesn't do the drainage.
Yeah, it was the pipe going up under, it collapsed and the street was collapsing, so. We had school buses and all that going over, or hit one of them falling in a hole. So. The next item that we'll discuss, and I'll be asking for a motion, and I don't know, Amanda's not here, in here right now. But it's about budget amendments, and what this is to make sure that the funding that y'all have already approved of from the ARP funds go into the proper funds for the city. You know, because some of that stuff is capital improvement, some was other different things, so this would put the funding in the right places. Next item to talk about would be the 6 months probation for our city clerk. I've gone through and I've actually done the evaluation. If anybody wants to see it, I know of no issues that have come to my attention, unless it's come to the attention of some of the council. So I think she has done a really good job, you know, during this 6 month period. I've had comments from our city attorneys, from other people that she's worked with, you know, how easy she is to work with and be able to get the job done. If anybody wants to go through and review.
As a residential requirement in there, there was 6 months to be a resident of the city. Does that happen?
Nothing, no.
That's just one. requirements in the job description.
That is, that's an item to come up. Also have a resolution, for the authorization of the Civil Southeast to make application to ABM for playground surfacing improvement. And that would be at Monroeville Park. where we put the button marks down. And there was one other, is the park out there by the, senior center.
Yeah, they got.
Put down the rubber mulch. So we'll be going through and applying, making an application for the grants to do that. And then we have a new hire, Mr. Weston, at home with the police department. I saw Lieutenant. Lieutenant, Mr. McFall, the only thing he still had to do was psychological, correct?
I talked to Lieutenant Davenport right before I left, and he said he's got the report back, and he passed that, and his drug test came back also. He's good to go.
Is there any background information on him? All we got was the sheet for the, front application.
He's 26. He grew up in Excel, just got out of the Navy. He did 6 years in the Navy. And it just got out, wanted to start a local career.
That actually.
Yes, sir.
I think I got a packet in there on my parents. He's big as Ashley.
He's not quite that big.
We have the Literary Festival coming up, and we got a request from King's Kids for the utilize tents, tables, and chairs. For the Literary Festival, and this help will come from the Public Works. So, got that request from you. So I don't really see an issue with it. We just need to. No rental, we just can provide our stuff. Just provide. The next thing on here is from Reed State, and they have a request for additional space at the incubator. In fact, this something has some information on that.
They're wanting to add more space because now they want to open a diesel mechanics program here. And so it just gives another opportunity for the kids to, well, not just kids, but the kids to have career technical programs. And you look at this, these two rooms you all approved before, and they've decided, since they decided to ask to do this differently, this is the whole, if you're looking at the building, it's the right side. And so they're asking that to just take that, they did put a wall up here. They want to take that wall down, and they want to take this entire space. We've already had Billy Black to go over and check out the space and be sure that fire codes and all could be met with them doing it the way they want to do it. And they're going to pay for all the remodeling work. So what this does is they'll have approximately 50% of the space that's over there for office space, taken up for classroom and offices. So, any questions?
Is this a long-term commitment or how long?
Well, it would be what we did before, and what I would do is just an addendum to the lease if you all approve it. It would be 3 years. And they did get approval, you know, they have to go through accreditation process and everything. And they did get their program, the CDL program accredited recently. They have a few things that have to fix, but nothing major.
We had discussion about the education assistance policy, and we've gone through it, and we were able to touch base with some other cities, and we provided a draft of the education assistance policy. And there's some things in there, just a brief overview. I don't know if you guys had a chance to do it in its entirety. If you're not comfortable, go down tonight to table it. But one of the things is that, if we adopt this, that somebody who is willing to take advantage of it, they have to apply for it between May and July, because this would be money that comes from, the general fund that would have to be budgeted. The next thing about it is that if they go through and they do a 2-year associate's degree, they have to, maintain employment with the city for 2 years. Or if they leave before then, they have to reimburse the city for all the funds that are paid. If they go through and they do a 4-year degree, then they have to agree to stay with the city for 4 years. And if they leave before then, they have to reimburse the funds. There is a grade requirement. They will reimburse as long as they maintain a grade of A, B, and C. Anything less than that, I think is, says what, 9%? Yeah. They would reimburse at 9% of the tuition fees. It has to be related to the job that they're performing. The courses have to be approved by their supervisor, and we add in there approved by the city council. So that's an overview of it. Like I say, if y'all want to study it in more detail before we go through take a vote on it, all of the information.
Yes, too, if this is on their time.
Right, it's on their time. Which they have to take. Whatever would be our fate. The next item that we're looking at here is a firearms course for civilians. And I know this has to do with this police department, our police department, but before we even get into that, I want to publicly thank the men and women of the Monroeville Police Department and how they responded to the incident last Thursday. I actually went out there. Through the blessings of God, it could have been much worse. But due to their professionalism, their training, they were able to take a dangerous person off the street and get him into custody. And I'm hoping that in the future that this person is going to be incarcerated for a long time. Because he could easily have a lot more injuries and talent out there than what he was. At this time, we in the firearms course for civilians in Lieutenant House. You want to give us an overview?
I know what's coming out of the packet. This is basically going to give opportunity. We get a lot of people asking about firearm safety. So we decided we would try to put on a course for just basic firearm safety for the general public. And also use it as an opportunity to help fund our Christmas outreach program. We got a lot of good response out of that this year. We figured that we could go ahead and start and maybe make that a bigger function this year and be able to do for some more kids this year. We use this class to help fund.
If you go back and you look in there, it does make mention, police department has a piece of training equipment.
Yes, sir. We're going to incorporate our new training simulator. It's one of only 2 in the state. State of the art. We're going to give the general public a run at it. Get them a little more familiar with, the training environment, the firearms and as it relates, and do that before they ever even have to touch a real firearm.
And I would love for any council members that would like to go through this simulation. Give you some idea of what kind of challenges we face out.
So if you don't pass the test, you have to do it all over again.
Well, it's at your own discretion. It's a two-part class. A lot of people we know will just want to do the classroom portion. And then the second part will actually be a little more hands-on with one-on-one training, for safety reasons. But you have to attend the first class to be eligible to attend the second day. And that's just a safety issue, so you don't have just people showing up wanting to shoot.
Curious what, you know what days a week this is?
That's on 2 consecutive Saturdays.
Okay, Saturday,
Yes, sir.
and how long?
We're thinking it's gonna be about a half a day per course. And depending on how many people we have respond, we may do it more than just those 2 Saturdays. If we have a lot of people wanting to do it, we have to break it up and do it, further on, so you don't have so many people at once.
What's the minimum age?
21.
21.
Yes, ma'am.
My wife applied. You don't want her to know how to do it.
Yeah, the simulator, it's very realistic.
Good experience, and I highly recommend it, but, like I say, it's a baby. So. Okay. Well, y'all go do simulator.
Yes, ma'am. This is kind of.
Now, you want to go out there, and do all that other stuff now. Yeah, that's controversial. Christmas. Right. Okay, the next item is, American Rescue Plan expenditures. And we had already gone over and talked about the Silver Southeast, hopefully we'll do the shelter road projects. And so we need to, we'll move forward to have a. Okay, when we talk about that one, there's also here where the city went back and you guys remember we approved $15,000 for the Russell Branch to Monroeville. And we also have some heating and air conditioning systems, 2 of which have already been replaced and 1 that needs to be replaced. The one that needs to be replaced is at the community house. These are eligible that we can actually use American Rescue Plan funds to pay for this, and the total amount of $222,000. And the way that this is done is that we can move the salaries, the amount of salaries from our general fund for first responders to the American Rescue Plan. And then the American Rescue Plan will reimburse our general fund, which is what we did earlier for that $214,000. So that frees that up. Then we had talked about when Reach State came out that we would provide $10,000 for the CBL school and the training out there for the build out of that facility. And we were going to do that through the Economic Development Authority. At the same time, the $5,000 that we talked about to obtain a grant writer would be done through the EDA, and we would do that through a sub-recipient agreement in motion, which means that the EDA would be responsible for meeting all of the, it's just like they're getting a grant of these funds, and they will be responsible for meeting all of the guidelines associated with it, which are spelled out in the sub-recipient agreement. Okay. Okay, then, if you're all familiar with Downtown Redevelopment Authority, Downtown Redevelopment Authority has a process by which they will grant up to $10,000 or 10% of a business, locating to downtown. I think this was the first time it was used with the Plymouth Run. But we haven't been able to actually go back and put in funds in there. And so this can be used, some of the American Rescue Plan monies can be used for that to help promote business development in downtown. And that would be done through a sub-recipient agreement also, that they would have to sign off and agree that they would follow all of the guidelines. Trying to see, there's got 15,000 Russell Brand, 10,000 for CDL, we've got air conditioning covered. So we can, take all of these expenditures using American Rescue Plan funds. And, that will, we will be in compliance with all of the guidelines, and a lot of instances, it goes back to the laws and do some things, moving expenditures back to the general fund, so we. The next thing on here is where we have a resignation of Barry Childs from Public Works.
Him last on.
Okay,
He was too well trained, huh?
well, although it might be making more comments on that.
He knew more than Michael did, that's what it was.
So then we will need to advertise for another equipment operator.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, I got those two guys coming in Monday through the career center,
Mhm.
and one of them's already got a forklift driver's license. And he might be a good candidate for that position. And we can go ahead and advertise, but I'd like to advertise for a month to give me time to see what he can do.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I got a forklift driver's license, so don't think so highly of that.
And I have two, Mike.
They give them pretty regular.
Okay, and then the next item I have on here is the resignation of Michael Kane from the fire department. I don't know if Chief Black is here or not, but I understand that this young man broke his leg. And, so while the time he's been off, he has made the determination that, he didn't want to come back to the fire department. I guess that's what the summary of it.
His last day was February 16th. It was the 16th.
It was
February 16th.
February 16th. Okay, so, okay, and he's already done. And so what the chief has done, he has requested to hire firefighter recruits when we submitted applications. We did the announcement. He got a lot of applications off of Indeed, which he's going through now. And so, you know, we had one, what was his name? That had already left, he's trying to fill that out. Fill that out.
Brandon.
Yeah, and he was trying to fill that application, then he had this one come up, but he feels like he has more than enough applicants from Indeed to go through without having to, reannounce. So, the only problem we run into is that some of them thought it was Monroeville, Pennsylvania. So, I don't know. I also have a request here, Ms. Hunt, if I can get you to address it, is concerning moving dates for the community house reservation.
So it's for an event that's happening out there. It has been moved one time from June 10th to the 11th of this year, and now it was moved from 2021 to 2022. And now they're requesting to move it from this year to next year on the 9th and 10th of June. But it's due to COVID.
If the
They
date's
not
open,
getting the money,
the date's open, I think.
Yeah, the date's open.
For 2023.
Yeah, and that was the first one.
We,
Didn't
we,
have wrong thing.
we may look at having a policy of a number of times that can be changed.
Well, that's what when y'all did the COVID thing, y'all allowed one change date where you either gave the money back. And that was from that one change date, so that's why I asked her to write a letter, because that was the last policy.
Okay. At the same time, with these people we talked about. Whoever.
Yeah, but we decided at the point that this is no longer will be an option to. Now, that was mainly designed for refunds more than necessarily changing the date. I think the thought of that was. In the discussion, I remember that we,
Because see, I told Hippie that if they wanted a refund, that they could ask for a refund, but they couldn't change their date to a future date because y'all had set that policy in place. So I mean, if y'all are allowing them to change them now again for a whole nother year, I just need to know. So I can let them know.
Well, 23 days is still open. Right?
For June, yes, that date's open.
Is that okay?
I'm fine with just moving.
Yeah, I think we could just move in.
So we opening, because what I understood from Amanda, they only get one chance to move it. Are we opening up where they can move it multiple times now?
that's why I'm going back to what did we decide at that time? I remember the discussion. I don't quite remember
But we have to realize.
being that way, but that's the way the minutes. And that's the policy we set, that we don't change it every time.
Yeah, change the policy. Right.
Good.
You have to change it. You do it again, you have to change the policy, It's not allowable.
But it's changed it from so the COVID is still going.
But that's why we changed it like we did, it was because we'd already, everybody was changing for code, and we said we just finally got to stop that as a reason for it, they just don't have to eat it if they want. At that date, we're away from that to the point of this summer being out of being. Or should be anyway. Well, we already did, that's the issue they're saying, we've already decided we were gonna give them one chance, but I said, I remember our discussion was mainly the fact of refunds more than changing dates, but if that's the way it's written up that time, then that's what we should abide by.
Did they give a reason why they want to move it?
COVID again,
Well, just, if you want to keep the refund, just refund and then let them move it, let them redo for next year. So
Well, see, at the
it's same
time,
deal.
like at the time, this family reunion was booked probably in 2020. So this date, when 2020 came out, y'all stated that y'all could move it one time or get a refund. Well, they just chose the option to move the day to the next year. So this is 2022 where they've moved it to from that one time. And now they're stating they want to move it again to 2023.
I think what Amanda is asking, if y'all decide to move it, do we need to change
Well,
the
I
policy to move it?
understand what you're saying, but, and I'm trying to go back, because we can't change every situation. That's right. If we refund it, then they can book, use that and book 2023.
Yeah,
Within the
that'd be
policy.
good.
That way you won't have to change the policy.
Well, I'm just saying, they never asked for a refund during that time, they just wanted to move the date.
Right, they wanted to move the date, and we said that we allow them to do that one time.
Correct.
So, now, instead, since it's 2023, if we did refund, then they could come back and book for 2023, and we wouldn't have to go through the change of policy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
but they've already exercised their option.
Right.
They've already exercised
If
it.
you give them that money back, then it starts over again.
Yeah, but
This is a new contract.
I understand what you're saying, but we gave them the option for one time to move it because of that reason. And that was, this is, use that option up. Now we're giving them another option.
But you're gonna start all over again, whoever it is, or maybe get another person to do it in the family to start all over again.
Yeah, but if I'm understanding right, what we agreed, we would not refund it but we allowed them to move it one time, and that's what they did. So we would be changing what we agreed to last time.
Now, they could move it or refund, it, right?
The problem with refunding it too is that in the past meetings that this has came about, y'all just agreed not to refund them unless the date opened up to another person, then they get the refund back.
So with the date being open, then it shouldn't be an issue, right?
Yeah, you can move the date. The question is that are y'all gonna move it and then change the policy to let other people
That we're gonna,
move theirs?
See, I can open that date, which is this year's June 2022. I can open that date. And if it gets booked, then I can refund
Okay, I
it.
see what you're
Yeah. So if y'all choose to just move it to 2023, then we need to change the policy to allow other people to do it too.
Because that means they have to pay for it again.
The person.
No, they're already, yeah, as long as they don't get that refund back, they'll just move to next year.
Because if
Whenever
somebody
they-
doesn't get that date, then they lose that money, so they have to
Yeah.
I know.
we've already exercised their forgiveness policy for one time. This will be twice.
I mean,
And then they already told other people the same thing, so then we'll be backtracking on what they told other people. I feel, I mean, I understand, and that's why, but what the way out for us is if it rents, they have that option. If they don't have an option. That would be by way of policy.
Correct.
Okay.
We're making.
Then it's very likely at this point in time, they rent some, because they're pretty well staying booked up out there.
Probably so, because I know I've had people call about June and July. And June, and July is booked for this year. On Saturdays.
I mean, there's be a very good chance that that'll work and save us too.
Well, maybe you could refund the money and I could book community time.
That's not policy. They, you know, once, like
I
you
know
said,
that.
if I'm getting it right, once you give that one grace period, then you lose your money, right?
Yeah.
So even if somebody comes back and wants to
No.
rent that day,
Unless somebody rents that day.
Rents
If
it for
somebody
that day,
books that day,
then that would save us
refund
and also make them happy.
so they just have to wait till that day comes up to see if somebody rents it, right?
But I said, by what I understand, summer is pretty well booked, and they're very likely a good chance this far away from it to be able to, for that to happen.
But again, if y'all just leave it to next year, you just also like change the policy to let other people, if this comes in, let them change it. And they don't lose the road.
And if you do too much of that, then you start losing rental dates for us because
And then you're gonna, every time something comes up, you're gonna change the policy.
that's what we finally did, was because we had so many people coming back and saying, we just gonna cancel or refund our money back. And the refund reason may have not been COVID necessarily. It could have been because they couldn't get enough numbers of people to come. But they made that commitment when they wanted to say the date, and then we didn't have opportunity to rent it.
So what about rental dates for 23? Have y'all started making these?
Yes,
Yes.
but June is open. December, I think, sorry, booked for 2023. December goes first this year.
Well, I wouldn't want them to lose that June date this year and then not be able to get it next year in 23.
Yeah, which that could be the option they could go ahead and put deposit on that date too, and if the other one is, it'd be refunded. They want to make sure they had it that day. That would be the way to guarantee it. They go ahead and put a deposit on that date, and if they get this date, then they get that.
They don't like it. Twice. I mean, you're on.
Either way, it's gonna be a council decision, you know, if y'all want to, if order to do what y'all talking about, well, you're gonna have to first do a motion to change the policy.
And then you're gonna get in trouble with other people that have already been told what the policy is.
Or if you leave it like it is, then you're gonna have to do a motion, to either, approve the request or deny the request. In time comes, I'd ask for both motions. That's pretty much, everything that I have on. Go through the discussion. Councilman Pope, yeah.
I'm just saying, how we come along with all our areas of our stormwater problems.
We back at them. We got some small ones we still got to get. We found another one today that it ain't bad, but it's got it was eat out by the storm. We actually done some brush cutting and found it.
Got the lake back pretty secure.
Yes, sir. And one thing that I wanted to talk, you want to talk to them about the sidewalk, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I'll let them go through and I'll come back from the park here.
Yes, I need y'all to have mercy on me. And, hey, the Jeeves Lane going into the park. We had a meeting down at the weekend, and everybody was calling me about that. So, is it any way possible that we can pay it? It shouldn't take, it's not that long, So we need to do it. Y'all need to have mercy on me and do it. I'm afraid to joke.
Well, I would, I actually had gone through that discussion with, Mr. Powell today. No, it was yesterday, about the park. And there are some things out there that we have already gone through the budget for. But then, I was going to get with him and also probably get Mr. Laster involved in to see if there's some things that we can go down there with and come up with ideas and maybe use some ARP funds. Bring it back to the council.
Do you think we might get the park paid with that?
I don't know. I'm gonna get them together and we go down and we'll run this through, the consultant, make sure that we, fall within all of the guidelines.
Is that private property or that city property?
It's city property.
Let me say
It's not private.
it's a street going into it. I didn't know.
It's going to the park, but that's city. That's not the city.
The,
Why it's not the city?
the biggest part of the road going in there don't actually belong to the city. But if I'm not mistaken, since we've maintained it over these years, the paved part is what we can. Ain't that right, Chipper, since we've maintained it?
It's been a road there for well more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20.
We just don't have no right of way. And that's one thing we're gonna look at, because we're looking at putting a sidewalk down through there too.
But if that's private property, it must be the Whitings.
Bethel
Okay.
owns that part. They own from the actual Falldale Road all the way in nearby to where the fence starts, it's around the pavilion.
The Bradley guy, I thought the Bradley guy was the one.
No, Bradley owns back behind the playground now. He just got an easement through that.
Well, we'll get Ruffin to go down there and take a look at it, then we can come back and we talk about what we found. And then see what may be eligible, that we can. I hate to speculate right off the top, say, yes, we can, or no, we can't. But we'll go through the research. I'll come back, hopefully by next council, we have something to report. All right, let's see. Chief, you got anything? Okay. Lieutenant, anything else? Mike?
Yeah, the sidewalk over at the lake that we want to replace, you know, put sidewalks, walk trail was loaded out. I know Jeremy and them had gave us the estimate of 22,000. I talked with a local contractor and he went over with me today and he measured it off and he can do it for 10,755. And I have almost all of it in sidewalk repair, but I'm gonna need a little more. And then Mr. Mayor was looking at it, we had budgeted for 7 months, oh no, 9 months, I think, for the street sweeper. And we're only gonna use 7 months of that. So if we could move some of that money back over to sidewalk repair, we'd have enough to go ahead and get the sidewalk done down outside.
It would take a budget revision of about $4,000. We do the sidewalk repair, and that still leaves a little bit of money in sidewalk repair.
And that's on the south side of the lake.
It's on the end, no, it's on the east end where the new parking place.
Oh, okay, okay.
And what we're gonna do is actually drive rebar in the ground and put rebar in the sidewalk. That way, if it ever overflows again, if it was to wash something off the back side, it'll help hold the sidewalk in place.
Yes, sir?
I'm about to send out the, API for you guys to fill out. It'll be coming in the email with the link to it.
That's the, ethics thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man, that was. Man. Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks, few minutes. I don't have a date on it. I don't think Kim's here right now. But, I don't have a date. I do have, I can go back to my voicemail and contact back with them. But it would be going in down there, from I understand by the credit union. Haven't had a chance to make contact with folks from Jackson yet. I guess. Ms. Thompson, do we have any?
I'm sorry?
Do we have any contact with Jack? A contact person?
I know their contact for the developer, yes.
Let's see if we can arrange a meeting.
I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
There is,
I understand. It'd be good to, Chris, shake hands. Yes.
Yeah.
We did, I got to get
About the ablation. Shot part of it, right? And see if I can. Go back to Andrews. This next one. My favorite. And then it's like, my food, give me my scripture. It ain't gonna change.
Yep.
Hey, he gonna take care of it. You know, I need to have a talk.
It's private, right?
Uh-oh.
Hello, Kim, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you? When are we gonna go right in your neighborhood?
We need to, don't we? You would want to. Get his meal running, we make sure he'll do something.
What'd you tear up?
We've been down a few months.
I was
We
going to
ran our
say,
first,
what,
ran our first one, but we ran a few boards and something, man, the last week, but we ran, cranked up the run. Just after
ARC went down this weekend.
that. Yeah, they went out early. You ready for us and stuff?
Yeah, we're going to coast.
Huh?
We go to coastal. Coastal Pine Hill.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the city council meeting for the city of Monroeville. 2022. We have an invitation by Pastor Robert Barr.
Most gracious, eternal God, our Father, first of all, we just want to say thank you for being so good, kind, and wonderful. Thank you for your darling son, Jesus, dying on the cross for our sin. And God, we ask for peace for our world. And God, we ask that you come into our meetings tonight. Bless our hearts and our minds, that we'll forever give your name praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the work session that's held on February 15th, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. And also the regular meeting is held on February 15th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes? Do I have a second? Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Okay. Before we get into the items of action, I'd just like to point out that the council has an Arbor Day proclamation which proclaims Thursday, March 4th is Arbor Day in the city of Monroeville, and this is proclaimed this the first day of March of 2022. And we'll get all the councilman signatures. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the designated official and alternate to cast votes at the Alabama League Municipality Business Meeting. The designee would be myself as mayor, and I think the alternate would be Mr. Al Bruton. Do I have a motion to approve the designated officials?
It's the
You
third alternate on the team.
They use the third on.
Councilman Thomas.
Anthony Thomas.
Councilman Thomas? Oh, he is the one.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the designee and alternates for the legal municipality business? Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the repair to the part of Monroeville Street that has collapsed. Do I have a motion to approve that repair? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Where funding, where we decide funding coming from.
Yeah, the 14th.
Okay.
Okay. There being no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of budget amendments. And these budget amendments will allow us to put the designated funds from ARP, from American Rescue Plan, in the proper city accounts. Do I have a motion for the budget amendments? Do I have a second? Would I like this Amanda to designate the accounts? Or we do?
Yeah, now this is the one for the,
It was 214,000.
yeah, for Civil Southeast.
No, no. You know, when we went back and we did the amendment, yeah, the ambulance
Yeah,
and all that
okay.
stuff.
I got you.
Okay, this moves that, so this puts the fund in proper categories in that. Okay. No further discussion, all in favor? Okay. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the 6 months probation salary and permanent status for the city clerk. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Okay, the next item on the agenda is resolution number 2022-03-001. And that is the operation of Civil Southeast LLC to make application to ADM for playground surface and improvements. And this will be a Beverly Park, not Beverly Park, Falldale Park, and the playground there by the senior center. Period. Right. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Where, how much, civil staff fee, we know?
How much you gonna pay them?
Yeah.
It'd be right at 12,000, I believe. So they're making them do 2 applications, one for each part. But now we should still get funded for both of them. If, you know, but they made them do, ADM made them do 2 different applications into 2 different locations.
How much is it gonna cost to put that material down, but,
Oh, we can do it. Okay, the public works can actually put it down.
but it, to say that on that, the park over there, the little amount that's gonna go in there, it's gonna cost us more doing a study than it is putting the material down.
No,
Grant application?
the grant application.
Yeah, how much is the grant application for?
Oh, now, the thing about it all together, they had to engineer and submit the application, and all, that's all of their engineering and everything. Yeah,
But what's the estimated amount that the grant can be for?
don't have it in front of me, let me see. I know it's like 350 tons per playground, no, yeah, 3,500 tons, something like that. No, what, 350 tons per playground, or not,
That's not a very big playground over there.
so,
That's not a very big playground over there.
no, that one and one called, they're about the same size. And I want to say it was 35 something, 30 something hundred thousand per playground. So 34, 36, something like that.
Now, Civil Southeast, their money, is that still on this percentage deal or whatever we get, or is that just a flat 6,000 each for,
If I'm not mistaken, it's a flat rate.
you can't negotiate with them, much as they making off of it? I
I
mean,
could talk to them, but I doubt it.
we ought to give them a gun, let them hold it on.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the new hire, Wesley McCall with the police department. Do I have a motion to approve the hire of Wesley McCall? So moved. Okay. All right, good. Any discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of providing tents, tables, and chairs for King's Kids at the River Festival. There's no charge. Do I have a motion to approve the provision of the tents, tables, and chairs for King's Kids at the River Festival? Do I have a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? There being none, all in favor? The next item on the agenda is the approval of Reed State's request for additional space at the incubator, which would be an extension of their current contract for a period of 3 years. So do I have a motion to approve the request for additional space at the incubator for Reed State? Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay. The approval of the education assistance policy, we don't want to take that to the study. So we'll take that for the time being. Okay, the next item is the approval of the firearms course for individuals that was presented by the police department. Do I have a motion to approve the firearms course for individuals? Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay. The next item on the agenda. Stuff. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of ARP expenditures in the amount of $222,000 for Civil Southeast Engineering, which is $182,000. Russell Brands, which we provided $15,000 in the recruitment process to bring here to the city of $15,000, and reimbursement for heating and air conditioning systems for $25,000. So do I have a motion to use $222,000 in ARP funds to reimburse the general fund account for first responder salaries paid between March 3rd and September 30th, 2020? Do I have a second? Okay. Any discussion?
The $5,000 is for the feasibility study, right, for the city?
That's not on this one. I don't, we have to have a separate motion coming for that.
Okay, I just listed on this sheet here.
Okay, this is one that has to do with, should have $222,000.
Okay, so this is what we have on our
Right,
sheet.
right, there's another one that's coming up to address that. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, I would like to have a motion that the city of Monroeville use $20,000 in ARP funds to support the downtown redevelopment authority so assistance can be provided to local businesses. And the downtown redevelopment authority's authorized agent will sign a sub-recipient agreement and complete a fund request form if the ARP funds are approved by the city. So do I have a motion to provide the $20,000 in ARP funds to the downtown redevelopment authority?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Is that for anything new coming, that's anything assistant, right?
Right, that's for, new. Right, now, the other part of that is where they go through and they provide, funding for, facades and stuff like that, but that's not what this is for. This is to attract. more business. Okay. So all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, all right. The next item on the agenda is where I would need a motion for the city of Monroeville to use $15,000 in ARP funds to support the Monroeville County Economic Development Authority, so assistance can be provided to local businesses and the projects of $10,000 for restate and the continued development of the CBL site, and $5,000 that will be utilized in support of providing funding to have an agent prepare a grant for the feasibility study of the agricultural city center. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Discussion.
On the 5,000 for the feasibility study. I don't think we should bear the whole cost. If this is a city county joint venture, I mean, I think we should do 2,500 and it can be 2,500. I mean, why is it that we are asked to do it all? And then, it was stated the feasibility study is going to cost $50,000 to $75,000. Well, if we don't get the grant, you know who's going to end up being asked to pay for that? Right. I think it ought to be, I think we ought to pay 25, ask them to pay 25. I mean, that's just my opinion. Right.
Well, it was my understanding when we first started talking about this, we asked for a feasibility study for the city to take a position on whether or not to move forward with this project. And that's what this $5,000 does, is to get a person to prepare the grant to get the funding to do the feasibility. And I understand what you're saying, but the county did not ask for a feasibility study. They still wanted to pass the feasibility study.
Also understand when we discussed this, that we would have had a plan of possibility of generating revenue supporting this project if we did a meeting.
And that would, that comes back from the feasibility study.
Well, and they had no plan. All they did was ask for $120,000. Zero plan.
So that's the purpose of having a feasibility, right?
Well, let them take part and step up. If they want $120,000, they need to tell us money. Right. I mean, that's my point.
Any other discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor? Okay. All opposed? Okay, at this point, we go back and we're gonna move to a roll call. Okay, Councilman McDaniel. Councilman Rudd. Councilman Hines.
No.
Councilman Cole.
We still do not have, I'll say no, because we still do not have any plan of spending any of this money to generate any kind of revenue to support this project is 5,000 or 120,000. I'm in favor of it, I want to see what, I'm in favor of them doing this, but I want to see something that tells us why we should see it.
Vote is 2-2, am I correct? Okay. Our cashier decide to vote. Aye. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of resignation of Barry Childs from Public Works. Do I have a motion to approve the resignation of Mr. Barry Childs? Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye, motion carries. Okay, the next item is the approval to advertise for equipment operator one. Still want, we need to do that, Mike?
Yes, sir. I'd like to do it for a month.
Okay, so do I have a motion for the approval to advertise for the Christmas equipment operator one for 30 days? Okay. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval to hire firefighter recruits from the submitted applications.
Resignation on that.
Oh, Michael Kane, okay. Do I have a motion for the approval of resignation of Michael Kane from the fire department? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Now, do I have a motion for the approval to hire firefighter recruit from the submitted applications that we received? Okay, do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay,
And Mayor, we're actually taking applications until the 15th. So the next council meeting is when we will submit them. But we can, at that time, we can select 2 out of our application pool instead of running for the current vacancy.
okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda would be okay. Is there a motion to amend the community house rental agreements? Okay. Black, who dies for black cover? Motion. Okay. Then the motion for the sidewalk repair at Wiley Park, which would require a budget revision of $4,000 to go into the sidewalk repair. And do I have a motion to approve the budget revision of $4,000 to go into the sidewalk repair fund for sidewalk repair at Wiley Park? Okay, do I have a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I moved to everything. Okay, Councilman.
Arbor Day.
Oh, we did that.
Okay, I thought.
Well, I read it in front of the council and they have all agreed to go back and sign.
Okay.
Good, go there. Yeah. Councilman McNair wants to go back to tree planting.
She wants to have 5,000 herself.
Oh, Brad's repair should. We actually planted it last Friday when it was raining.
Or watch them. I could have one more 2 that road. You know, like it.
Councilman Fulton? Councilman Ham?
No.
Councilman McDaniel? Ms. Brooke? Okay. Lieutenant?
No, sir.
Tim?
Our application for Tree City USA was approved, and we are now at the 35-year mark, one of the longest running cities in the state. So these will get added to the street signs.
Okay. All right. Is there anything?
No, sir.
Got anybody else?
No.
Okay, before we adjourn, I would like to recognize the Monroe Police Department for the display of professionalism and excellence in the incident that happened last Thursday that involved shots being fired at our officers. Our prayers are with those who were involved, and we also want them to know our deep appreciation for the job that they perform. I would also like to thank the fire department and their assistance in securing that scene and being able to get it all work and everybody come out safe. So, there being no further business for the city council for the city of Monroe, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting on the Monroe City Council.
Okay, second, all in favor?
I was watching.